Freezing outside. It is the end of March and the snow is still blowing. Not a huge fan of it, but my kids they got to go to school today. Didn't have a snow day, so I was thinking I was going to make an episode about snow days, but snow days they weren't really fun for me when I was a kid because we had like no heat growing up. So the funnest days we actually had for me was when like it was a snow day and my brothers rented a video game the day before, or they got a new video game or something like that. So I ended up just staying home and playing it. So actually, what I'm going to talk about today is about renting, going to the old movie store, renting a movie, renting a game, which was much more fun, to be honest. Movies kind of suck compared to games. Not really, but there's a lot more. Well, no, I wouldn't say there's a lot more worse movies than there are worse games. There's a lot of worse games. So, like, and yeah, you can't suck at watching a movie, but you can suck at playing games, Travis. So yeah. Anyways, basically growing up, we had, I mean, everybody had the movie rental store in town. Some people had Blockbuster, or if you're in Canada, you probably had Movie Gallery, or you had like going to the gas station and renting your movie. But for us, it's pretty rare that me or my sister, we were the same age, we had two older brothers, that where we would get to pick out the movie. Um, I remember one time, the first time I ever remember really renting a movie for us kids. Um, it was my sister's third birthday, and my mom and my grandmother rented Snow White. And that little scene in the forest of Snow White when everything turns dark and all the animals' eyes glow. My sister had a panic attack and ran away. So that was the end of watching a movie. You ruined it. You ruined it for everybody because you can't handle little cartoonish, evil-looking things. So yeah, um, when I was like a little kid, my dad would be the one that would rent the movies, and he would never rent anything family friendly. Like he would never go and like, oh, let's rent Jumanji. He would always be like, yeah, Faith, can you go to the store and rent Die Hard again? So yeah, I watched Die Hard more than I watched Toy Story or The Lion King growing up. Um, so yeah, and there'd be once in a while when Dad would rent some questionable things with my brothers. I remember one time he rented like cops, like like bad boys, that kind of cops, and it was like cops uncensored or something like that, or cops too wild for TV. Um, and that was it was interesting because when he showed it on TV, the there was one scene when a woman got arrested and she was topless and she like flashed herself at a crowd of people, and then I remember screaming at the TV. I was like, "What is she doing?" And so that was the actual first time I saw a boob on TV. So that stuck with me. That really stuck with me. So, anyways, I promise the title of this video is not going to be the actual first time I saw a boob. So we're in the clear for that. I don't have to worry about getting fired because my employees see that title. But yeah, when my brothers were going to high school, like I was in grade primary, they were in high school. So what they would do is after school, they would go to our local video rental store. It was called 10 to 10 Video. I used to think it was open from 10 in the morning until 10 at night, but I actually asked the old owner. He was like, "No, it was just a random word. Nothing to do with anything." When I was in grade primary and grade one, that's when the N64 came out, and that's when you could actually rent a whole video game console, bring it home. I remember one time you could actually there was a voucher to rent a Nintendo 64 inside of Cheerio boxes once upon a time. So I remember getting these little vouchers. This is free N64, and I freaked out. Uh, but we're not going to talk too much about the N64. I might do a whole episode on the Nintendo 64 about how rad it was. But yeah, my brothers would go. They would rent a video game from the store. I remember the first time they rented one from the store. I think they might have rented some Super Nintendo ones, but the first Nintendo 64 one I remember them renting was Wave Race 64. And that game was radical. And I remember they rented Mario Kart 64. That game was also pretty radical. I remember my cousins were over. We rented Mario Kart 64, and that's all we did for the entire day. Um, I also remember one time my dad rented a movie from the store, Leaving Las Vegas, and I remember mom threw out the videotape. Um, Mom did not mess around when it come to getting rid of stuff. Remember one time my brothers rented Mortal Kombat? Nope. That game got hidden away for a week straight. But I knew where it was, Mom. You put it in your dresser. I still took it. So anyways, Dad rented Leaving Las Vegas, and there's one scene in the movie in particular. There's a rape scene, and it's like pretty hardcore butt stuff too, actually. Um, so I remember one time Mom kind of freaked out about that. Um, Also, I don't want to like just talk about every single movie, but my brother, he was absolutely notorious for having like horrible taste in movies. Like my dad was bad at it. Like he would, it didn't matter how crappy the movie looked. If it had anybody with a gun or a pistol on it, he'd rent it, no matter what. Like even if it was like some straight to DVD Steven Seagal movie, no, he had to have it. That's what he would watch. Um, and my mom was like the polar opposite, but in just a bad way. She would, if anything on the movie said based on a true story, she'd rent it because she thought a movie being based on a true story um, meant it was good. I mean, like you could have like Auschwitz, a romance tale of Adolf and Ava, based on a true story. My mom would probably rent it. Um, So yeah, my brother, he would rent like the worst horror movies imaginable. I remember one time he rented a movie about some, oh, it was called like Drive-In or something like that. It was basically about some mentally challenged nitwit who could see drive-in movies from his bedroom window, and so he decided to go on a killing rampage. And I remember my dad saw the movie that my brother rented, and he was like, "Oh, so it's about a retard that watches too many movies." And he was like, "So it's about you kids," or something like that. So my dad showed no mercy. Um, and my brother ended up having like the bad reputation of like, don't let Josh rent the movie. He is horrible. Um, I mean, nowadays it's not so bad because, well, I mean, to be honest, I really miss rental stores because it was like an event. You get to rent one movie a week. If it wasn't there, you get to play video games. And like, you waited for that one copy of Jurassic Park or Terminator 2 or Men in Black to come out. And if you weren't lucky enough to get that, you get some crappy movie like Batman and Robin or Wild Wild West. Speaking of Wild Wild West, awful movie by the way. I can't stand it. For whatever reason, when I had my bachelor party, my buddies decided to watch Wild Wild West. Can you imagine going to your bachelor party and the thing that your friends want to do is watch Wild Wild West? Really? That's the best you can come up. I mean, that's not even the best Will Smith movie. I mean, you'd rather watch Will Smith slapping Chris Rock on repeat than watch Wild Wild West. But yeah. Also, me and my buddy Mark. I'm sorry, buddy. You get the worst taste in movies. I remember one time we went to a like anything with Jean Claude Van Damme in it, he would rent. We like, and Jean Claude Van Damme has had like three good movies: Face Off, Kickboxer, and Bloodsport, and that's it. Those are the only good Van Damme movies. Unless you're talking like animated cartoon movies, or I have a glove in my pocket. Okay. Um, so yeah. Um, Now when you got older, movie gallery opened up, and movie gallery in our town, like, it was good for me because before that you would just have all the moldy old tapes at the local corner store. I remember one time I rented. It wasn't even a movie. I rented like the 1993 King of the Ring WWF pay per view on VHS, and it was like in 2001 when I rented it. So I don't know why I did. Yeah, I mean it was kind of cool because it had video game secrets for Judge Dredd, the game. The Judge Dredd, that movie sucked, but like the only cool part of it was the the guns on it. Um, yeah, and the cool thing about going to a big store for movie rentals was going to movie gallery. I remember one time, like they had a little section in the back for the Bow Chicka Wow Wow movies, um, the one where you do this. And if you can't see that, I just slapped my cheek. So yeah, the cheek slapping movies. Every once in a while, you'd see some dirtbag go in the back and come up with like 10 movies, and you just kind of give them the judgy eyes. Now, I remember one time, my buddy in high school, he told me to rent this movie called Dirty Sanchez. Like, what in the world is Dirty Sanchez? He's like, oh man, it's awesome. They just do a bunch of stunts. I'm like, okay. So I went to the movie gallery. I rented a movie called Dirty Sanchez. Now, if you don't know what Dirty Sanchez is, it's when you wipe poop on someone's face or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, when I got to the counter, I was late returning the movie, and when I got to counter to get something else, the lady was like, "Oh, you're overdoing a movie." I was like, "Oh, okay." And there's like 10 people behind me, and she said, yeah, you need to return Dirty Sanchez." And everybody just looked at me, thinking I was some dirtbag. I also remember one time there was a chick at the movie counter. She'd always flirt with me, and I don't mean like I think she was flirting with me, but like she was really flirting with me. Like I remember one time I went there in my gym clothes. She's like, "Do you go to the gym?" I'm like, "Yeah, a little bit." She's like, "Oh, because you get some really big muscles." I'm like, "Okay, no more, no more renting movies from here." But yeah, and we had a little corner store where we rented um, Nintendo 64 games as well. Uh, it's pretty awesome. I think I rented Castlevania 64. The game was bloody awful, but still rented it. Now, the absolute worst thing that ever happened was when all the movie rental stores started closing to make way for like Netflix and all that, which is a shame because Netflix used to be good, but now like the price is quadrupled and there's like a quarter of the amount of movies on there, and now there's like 10 different places where you can subscribe to. Honestly, just pirate all your movies, man. Just go to the old Pirate Bay, get the uTorrent, download it all, pirate it. I mean, that's what I do for literally every single new release. I haven't rented a movie digitally. I think since maybe I did it once during COVID when I didn't have an actual proper computer and I couldn't go to the movie rental place. I couldn't go to the movie theaters, so I didn't want to subscribe to anything. What did I rent? I know. I think I might have rented like Godzilla versus King Kong or something like that. So yeah, when I didn't have a computer, that's all I could do. But I did get my computer and able to do that, I just pirate all my movies. I just watched Weapons the other night. It was actually pretty good. So yeah, when all the movie rental places shut down, horrible day. Um, I remember I bought out like a ton of DVDs, and I still have them all, and I still watch them all because some of them you can't even get on a streaming service, and when you do, they kind of go out of rotation every 6 months. Like all the James Bond movies, bought them all. All the Dirty Harry movies, bought them all. It's good stuff. They also like emptied out all their video game collections. But honestly, that place deserved to go out of business because like in 2010, they had a copy of God of War 3 for $110. So like they had 2025 prices on a 2008 video game. They kind of deserve it. And I remember one time in high school, there was a little tiny movie rental store called L&S Videos right next to a Dairy Queen restaurant. I bet he went in there, he went to the pornos in the back, and then what he did, there was like a little container where they sold pop and stuff. He would put all the pornos in the pop fridge so that when anybody come in there, they'd see some nice cold boobies. So yeah, uh, this rental stores. I'm gonna start talking about. Maybe I'll start talking about video games again soon. I might invite my buddy. I don't know if he wants me to use his real name. I'll call him Trav. I'll invite him on the podcast. Maybe he'll. If you're listening, buddy, let me know if you want to join. Tyler, you want to join too? Let me know. Okay. Bye bye.